Today, our topic will be on 5 essential elements you have to know when you are buying a landed property in Singapore. Right, before we proceed further, I think I need to put a disclaimer here. Right, whatever I'm going to share with you today is just for opinion, is our opinion, and it's for your reference, for education purpose. Right, we are not here to advise you on any investment tips, and we are not going to give any advice on the investment or recommendation to buy or sell. Right, so are you ready? Right, let's proceed further. Okay, I'm going to ask you all a question. If given a choice, if you are able to turn back the clock, say 25 years, from now, or 25 years from now, in the past, what do you think is the best year to buy a landed property in Singapore? You have any ideas? Right. So to answer your question, I'm sure at this moment you might not be able to know which year is actually the best year to buy a landed property. So to answer your question, I think we have to look at the past 25 years landed property performance. Right, so I prepared a chart. The source are from URA. Right, over here you're able to see 1995 performance until 2019. This is actually a landed property national average per square foot chart. Right, from here, very obviously, I think the lowest point actually fall on year 2003. Right, so in year 2003 to year 2013, Singapore landed property price average per square foot index has gone up by 196%. Right, so what does that mean to you? Meaning, if you actually put in 1 million in 2003, today you will be sitting on an asset of 3 million. That's almost a 200% increment. Right, so over the same period of time, if you compare landed with condo and apartment, right, what are the differences? So again, I prepared a chart for you to take a look. Over here, from 2003, same thing, to 2013, 10 years period, condo and apartment has raised by 134%. Right, so meaning, if you look at the chart carefully, if you compare the chart with landed and non-landed, actually landed are performing much more better as compared to condo in the past 10 years from 2003 to 2013. Right? So what will you be learning today? Before I proceed with this, definitely we are not able to turn back the clock, right, back to 2003. But why do I share this with you? Why do I have to start with the question of, which year is actually the best year to enter into landed market? I just want to show you the potential of landed property price appreciation when it comes to market bull run. It can definitely run faster or higher as compared to condo and apartment. Right? So good afternoon everybody. My name is Jeep Ng. I'm a Senior Group District Director with Propnex Realty. So for a living, in the past 20 years, I help home seller and buyers fulfill their real estate dreams. And at the same time, I impacting my experience and knowledge in the landed property segment to all my more than 8,000 Propnex salespersons. Right, so if you have any intention to go into a landed property, or you are planning to upgrade from your HDB, from your condo to the next landed house, I'm sure today my sharing on these 5 essential elements will be able to help you to make a buying decision or to make a right choice for your landed property purchase. So are you guys ready? Come, let's dive in. Right, so what will you be learning today? First, I'm going to touch on freehold and 99. Many of the buyers actually ask me, is 99 years landed property worth the buying or not. So later I'm going to show you some data, right? So the second point that I'm going to touch on will be a new and an old house. What are the deciding factors? Should I go for the old one or the new one? Right? Followed by some of the hidden costs that are breaking most of the landed buyers' plan, right? Because of the unforeseen circumstances that you have to come out a few 100,000, suddenly, then you have to actually deviate from your original plan, right? And the fourth point that I'm going to touch on will be what are the factors that can affect your landed property value, right? After that, followed by the zoning, all right, landed zoning and how it can impact your landed house. So these are the 5 essential elements that, in my experience, I think is important, especially if you have not owned a landed house before, right? So I hope you can actually stay tuned. I'm going to share with you, and this will be able to help you to make a buying decision better, right? Okay, before I go into further, I'm going to show you the landed price index, right, from 2018 to 2019. Right, you can see actually landed price the index has increased by 6.3% in 2018 and 5.7% in 2019. Right, so in 2019, the rest of the residential property are not doing as strong as landed property, as you can see from here. Right, so how about last year, the last 2 quarters of 2019, right, 3Q and 4Q. You also can see from here, landed property has performed, increased by 1%. After that, 2019, the last quarter of 2019, it come in very strong. It has gone up by 3.6%, right, as compared to the apartment. Sorry, I bring back. As compared to the apartment, actually last year, last quarter, we saw a negative sign, right? So that also another evidence to say that landed property are performing very well, even in last year, last quarter, right? So why landed property are able to perform so well, right? I'm going to show you some of the reasons why the price index for landed property over the years, it has gone up by so much, right? First of all, is actually we have a very limited supply in Singapore for landed property, right? This chart actually shows 2016, the whole Singapore number of residential property, right? We have a total of 1.37 million, right? Out of 1.37, landed property only have 74,000, right? As you can see from here, we have 1 million HDB flat and 280,000 condominiums. But landed property, very limited supply, only 74,000, right? So that was 2016, right? Come 2017, same thing, right? Landed property only have 73,000, right? We don't increase much on the landed property numbers, but HDB and condominium actually did show a big increment, right? And come to 2018, same thing. Right, landed property only contributed 74,000 units. Right, for the HDB, we have 1.056 and condominium already increased to 317,000. Right, so in Singapore, landed property is very limited. So that's one reason why landed property are able to hold on to the price and it actually keep increasing over the years. Right. So this is another chart to show you over the years from 2012 to 2018. Look at the number of the landed property units from 70,000, 71,000, 71,000 all the way to 73,000. So over the span of 6 years, we only see about like 3,000 landed property increment, right, as compared to condominium. Right, the number is huge, from 207,000 up to 296,000 units. Right, so that also explains in Singapore, we already have a very limited supply of landed property, right? And look at those planned in the pipeline. Landed property in 2018 only 1,000 units, right? Up from or down from 2012, 3,800 units, right? As compared to apartment, we have like 56,000, 40 over 1,000, 50,000 every year, right? So those are the planning in the pipeline for apartment as compared to landed property, right? So that's one reason. The other reason is actually our population are increasing every year, right? Remember, we have the mission of hitting the 6.9 million population, right? So are we moving towards the target? My answer is yes, right? You can see only 2017, the increment is not a lot. After that, it catch up again, right? So as of Saturday, which is March 28 this year, we have about 5.838 million of population. But of course, landed property are only open for Singaporean to buy, right? Foreigners are not able to buy. PR, you can buy, but you need to get an approval, right? So population increment will not have a direct impact to the landed property market. But remember, our Singapore citizenship is actually increasing as well, right? From where? From the PR conversion. So many PR are actually converting into Singaporean. So we have a goal of getting about 15 to 25,000 new citizens a year. So those are the conversion from PR to Singaporeans. And once converted to Singaporean, all these people are eligible to buy landed property. And who are they? Most of them are from maybe China, right? From other part of the Asia, right? They have the ability to buy a landed property in Singapore, right? Okay, so this chart shows you GLS, right? Why we have a very limited supply of new landed property in Singapore? Because over the years, we don't see a lot of government land sales catered for landed property, right? From 2007 to 2017, these are the only few government land sales. They are catered to build landed property, right? So the recent one is actually 2017 April, the one at Hougang Lorong 1 Realty Park, which is now turned into Parkwood Collection, right? The cluster landed projects, right? So from here, you are able to see whenever there's a land come out from government land sales program, you are able to see there will be a lot of developer going for the land bid, right? From 16 bid, 22 bids, 12, 11 bids. So every developer also, they are aware of the demand of landed property in Singapore. That's why whenever we have a GLS for landed property, it can attract many developers to come into the bidding games, right? So that also actually explains why we have such limited supply in Singapore, and because of limited supply, the landed price are able to hold better, and if not, it actually continue to climb. So imagine if the next 10 years we don't see a piece of GLS or government land sales coming out. So where can you buy a landed property in Singapore? The most you are able to buy from the secondary market, that is actually from the resale owner, right? So that's the only way that you can own a landed property, right? If not, you have to wait for GLS, okay? Okay, so I'm going into the first number one very important essentials elements that are causing a lot of confusion, or maybe you miss a lot of opportunity because of these points, right? Is there a future for 99 years landed property in Singapore or not? Right, so this is a very common questions, right? And all the GLS that actually push out by government to build landed property, they are all classified under 99 years leasehold, right? If you need a freehold, the only way is actually to buy from the resale market from the owner. That's the only source that you can get. Or if not, maybe some of the developers, they have some lands that are passing down from generations, and they convert it to landed property. And that is also another source, but it's getting very few in today's market, right? So to answer this question, is 99 years leasehold property worth to buy or has any future or not? I think we have to understand, or we have to ask ourselves why we are going for freehold, right? So this we have to understand before we are able to answer why or 99 years got any future or not, right? So people go for freehold. I think there's only a few reasons that I can think of, right? The first reason is actually everybody think that we are able to pass down to our next generations. That's why I'm going for freehold. I'm going to buy and keep and then pass down to my next generation, right? So this is actually one of the idea or the concept that most landed buyer has, right? But sometime along the way, our plan can change. So initially we thought we want to spend more money to own a freehold land because we want to pass down to our children. But along the way, sometimes our job change, sometimes your school relocation and so on, sometimes family expansion, right? You need to move to another location and you got no choice but have to let go or sell off the freehold landed property, right? So those are, most of the time it happens, and our initial plan of passing down to the children might not materialize by the end of the day, right? So the second reason why people love to own a freehold land is because of emotionally, I felt more secure, right? I feel more safe to own a freehold land. So those are all like inside me is like emotion, feel, you know, it's not so, I mean the emotion take over all the practical requirements to own the landed properties. That's what I meant, right? So the third reason people go for freehold property is actually because we felt freehold property, the price are able to hold better as compared to 99 leasehold, right? So is that true or not? Later we will actually go through some of the chart again to let you understand the difference between the freehold and 99 years, how they perform, right? So these are mainly the reason why buyer go for freehold landed properties, right? Okay, so which is better, freehold or leasehold, right? Let's look at all the performance. So brand new 99 years average per square foot in the past 20 years, right? From year 2000 to 2019. Freehold or 99 years leasehold brand new property actually has gone up by 160%, right? So how about freehold? The same period, freehold has performed, in fact, similarly to 99 years leasehold landed property, right? So those are the years from 2000 to 2019, right? So when it comes to like, you know, everybody think that freehold are able, the price are able to hold better, right? I prepared this chart. For example, the Spring Leaf Garden, this is actually in District 26, right? You can see actually the whole cycle from 1996 to 2019, we can see downturn, we also can see upturn. We are able to have downturn, right, in the period of time, even though all these are freehold property, right? So it doesn't mean freehold. When the market are not doing well, the price will not drop, it will stay, which is not true, right? Freehold landed property also fluctuated according to the market requirement or the condition, right? So that is actually District 26. How about District 21, in Kong Park, in Kong area? You also can see a downward turn, an upturn, and then a downturn, right? So irregardless of whether you are freehold, you are leasehold, right? When the market are not performing, the property price will come down. When the market run, it'll go up, right? So same thing, District 23, Pavilion Park. We also can see the same trend, downwards, upturn, downturn, right? So those are freehold property. Okay, Luxus Hill in District 28, Right, same thing, you are able to see some upward movement, some downturn, and then it go up again. Right, so it's fluctuating. Right, correct, no? So this is freehold. How about 99 years? Oh, this is Choa Chu Kang, District 23, Villa Valley. Right, you can see also there's a downturn, and when the market run, the 99 years leasehold landed property, the price will go up as well. Doesn't mean 99 years leasehold, the price won't follow the market trend. Right? So, likewise for Park Villa in District 19, right, same thing. It can come down like the freehold counterpart, and it will go up again. Right? How about Loyang Villa? Right, in the Loyang area, Changi area, same thing. You are actually having the same performance. It can come down and it can go up again. Right? St. Nicholas in District 20, Ang Mo Kio area, Mayfair. Right? Also having the same pattern. Come down, go up, and it can come down or at a certain time. It all depends on the market condition. Right? And this chart, actually, this graph or this table show you Victoria Villa, a 99 years landed project in District 10, actually have achieved like from averagely 4 over million to up to 8 millions, right? And you can see the PSF has achieved like 2001, almost 2002, right? 2193 per square foot. Right, so meaning the acceptance level for a 99 years leasehold landed property, if you are in a good location, if you are in a location have good demand or the future transformation, buyers are able to accept up to this kind of price quantum in today's market. Right? And why buyers are able to accept up to even 8 million for a 99 years leasehold? Because a condominium today, 5-bedroom condominium having a size of 2,000 square feet already are able to achieve 3.3 million. Right? And if you look at the PSF, it's like 1,500 over dollar per square foot. And those are all 99 years leasehold condominiums. And the size you will be getting is about 2,000 square feet. Compared to a landed property, right, if you are able to count the overall build up, definitely it's going to be double than this size. And you're not paying double the price as compared to condominium, right? So this table also show you another project in District 9, Martin Modern, has achieved like 4.7 million to 5.6 million. And those are all 99 years. And you're getting a size of 1,800 square feet, right? Buyer will compare. Hey, if today I buy a condominium and I have to actually pay 5 million for a 1,800 square feet size, might as well I go for landed property. I get much bigger house and I'm actually paying lesser as compared to a condominium, right? So those buyers who are eligible to buy a landed property, definitely I think they will switch to a better option, which is owning a landed house in Singapore, right? So if you ask me, is there a future for 99 years landed property or not? I think my answer is, if your intention is not to buy and hold a property for 20 years, for 30 years, for 40 years, right? It might not be feasible to pay a high premium and buy a freehold property if your intention is actually to stay for 10 years or less than 20 years, right? So that is actually my opinion on this. But what is important if you are buying a 99 years leasehold landed property? Right, so those are the questions I think we have to think carefully. We have to make sure we get the right one. So in my opinion, I think I call this the strategy, right? It's whether, where, and at what time or at which point of time you are buying, right? And the strategy will actually include also the place that you are buying in. Is there any future development or not? Or it's already fully developed up, right? And is there any volume to support your future valuation to climb? I think these are important if you are already deciding to own a 99 years leasehold landed property. Right, so the strategy is important because all this will actually help you in case if you are going to exit, you are able to exit with maybe some profits, right? Because of all these factors, right? And strategy will include into like which area. So which area you are buying when it comes to landed property, right? All this pink color you can see on the screen here, they are all actually landed estate, right? So if you are looking for volume, for example, there's actually one very important factor that will help you to drive the valuation up. We need the volume of transactions, right? So if you want volume, definitely you have to go for a bigger landed estate, right? So over here, if you're able to see, a big patch will be around here, right, beside the central area that we are talking, the suburban area. I think we can see this is very big plot of landed estate, right? Then the East Coast side also, right? East Coast side also we can see a lot of landed property, right? If I'm going to zoom in into this area, right, the most bigger plot of landed estate in the outskirt will be somewhere around here. We have the Serangoon Garden, right? We have the Seletar Hill, right? So those are the two quite a big plot of landed estates whereby you can see a lot of transactions going on from years to years, right? So if you zoom in again, you're able to see Serangoon Garden, right? You can see a lot of landed property already. This area already almost fully built up, right? As compared to Seletar Hill, you are still be able to see a lot of land that are designed for landed property, but it's not fully developed yet. That means they are still in empty land state, right? So these are Seletar Hill. So like what I say, one of the very important criteria to choose a landed property is if you are able to find an area whereby you can have future development, you stand a better chance to get a higher price in the future, right? So these are the area. So master plan, if you come into master plan, right, over here you can see a lot of empty land here. And best of all, you will see a plot of land reserved for education. So that means it's not built, but it's actually zoned under education. You'll get a school here in Seletar Hill area next time, right? And all this empty land, they are meant for landed property, but it's not built yet. So meaning moving forward, you'll be able to see a lot of houses will start to build around here and around here, right? You will be able to see more landed houses coming into landed Seletar Hill landed estate. And over here you see a green belt. This is actually a linear park that runs from CTE all the way to Yio Chu Kang Road of 100-meter width, right? Meaning if you get a landed property that are facing the park, that's something quite unique and it's very rare that can help you in terms of your resale price next time as well, right? So imagine how many landed property are facing a linear park in Singapore. I think it's not a lot. So that make a unique selling point for your unit if you're able to get one here, right? And over here, there's a expressway, CTE that lead you to the town area like Orchard or even the city area, right? And right now, many buyers were saying, CTE is very jammed. All right, if I'm going to travel from Seletar Hill, for example, if I'm staying there, right, by right I only take less than 10 minutes to reach Orchard Road. But because of the traffic conditions, sometimes it can actually last like 20-30 minutes, right? So it's very inconvenient, right? But a good news today is government, right, is actually building another expressway, right? This is north-south corridor, and you will start from Sampawang and go all the way to Marina area, right? And over here, right, you'll pass through all those people who stay in Sampawang, Yishun, Woodlands. Next time, imagine if they want to go to city, they don't have to travel by CTE. CTE is around here. They don't have to travel by CTE, right? They'll use a new north-south corridor. But why is that important for Seletar Hill? Because it will then actually free up CTE, right? So next time CTE will not be so congested after this north-south corridor is completed, right? So imagine Seletar Hill is somewhere around here. So you'll be the first housing estate to actually use CTE and reach to Orchard Road. Imagine you take maybe 8 minutes to reach Orchard Road. How convenient is that? Can that be, right? So that will be the future, and I think it's going to be somewhere 2026, not too far from here, right? We are expecting another expressway that run parallel to CTE, and that will help in the traffic condition if you are staying in Seletar area, right? And this another artist impression, right? You'll be able to see, like, you know, a bus lane that's specially designed under tunnel. They run express, right? So if you are not driving, you are taking public transport, that can help you to cut short your traveling time as well, right? So that's north-south corridor, and definitely we have more things in Seletar area, like our Seletar Aerospace Industrial Park, right? All these are a very big company, right, in the aerospace industry, like Airbus, like Rolls-Royce, even we have the Pratt & Whitney engine, right? So all these are the current tenant in Seletar Aerospace, right? So with this, I'm sure if one day, in case if you are not going to sell your landed property and you want to rent it out, right, you will not have problem to find a good tenant for your house. So freehold or leasehold, which is better, right? I think we have to ask ourselves, because it's very subjective, right? We have to ask ourselves whether affordability is there or not. Are we able to afford a freehold because this is 1 million more? Or are we making a decision based on purely our emotion, right? Or is a practical decision? So these are the things that we have to think a bit about it. There's no right or wrong, right? Whatever I have shared with you are some of the opinion that I'm having based on the facts and figures, right? And my own experience with buyers, right? So that is actually freehold versus leasehold. And the second essential elements that I'm going to talk about is whether to buy an old house or a brand new house, right? So definitely, if you are going for an old house and you are going to buy an old house and you have the intention to tear down and to build a new building, a new house, right? From a single story, for example, you want to build a 3.5-story house, we have to take note the construction cost normally will cost you about 1.2 million, maybe to 1.5, and some houses can be up to over 2 million, right? And that's actually the money. The nightmare part is actually you have to go through 15 to 18 months of coordination, of choosing the material, of meeting all the relevant people, right? So it's very drained. You're drained off all your energies. So it's not a no joke. It's not it's a no joke kind of process that you have to go through within the 1.5 years if you are going through a rebuild. So there's some experience that we are having, or we are getting the feedback from the buyers that we have encountered before, right? So beside the construction cost, if you are going into an old house or old landed estate, right, the uniform look will not be there. Meaning everybody will be having a different house, different look, different design, and some tall, some short. So those are the kind of feel that you will be getting if you are buying an old house in an older estate, right? As compared to if you go into a brand new landed estate. The design, everybody will be having a uniform look, and the feel when you are driving into the estate will be very different. So those are the feedback that I gotten from all our buyers, right? Between the old and the new landed estate, right? The other thing that if you are going for an old and a new estate is actually the road condition. As you know, every landed owner or every landed household, minimally, I think they own 2 cars and above. Right, so road condition become a very important factor in deciding which landed house to buy for certain buyers. Right, so imagine if you are going into the old estate, definitely your route is very narrow, because the older day, we don't expect to have so many cars in Singapore, right? So landed estate, normally they build the route actually quite narrow, right? So imagine if you have one car parked beside at one lane and the other side will not be able to park any more car. And because of this, sometimes neighbor and neighbor, they can come into quarrel, right? As of who have the right to put the car outside the house, right? And it's always a very common argument going on in landed estate, right? Versus a new estate, the road normally is wider, right? So if you park 2 cars center, 1 car still can pass through. So those are the advantage of living in a new landed estate, right? At least the road is not so narrow and you will avoid more arguments among all the neighbors, right? And the other thing, old house versus new house, one very obvious difference will be the build-up size. Older house, normally like single story or 2-story, right? You only get, 1 to 2 story high, and inside here, the most you get 3 bedroom, or this one maybe is 2 bedrooms, right? This is actually 3 bedroom on top and 1 bedroom on the ground floor. And worst thing is actually older house, sometimes you don't even get an attached toilets in the bedrooms. You only get one common toilet or common bathroom and the other one on the ground floor. That's all. So if you are having a big family, definitely you have to spend some money to do a reconstruction on the old property, right? So versus a brand new one, right? Everybody, developer built for you, everything are catered for, and normally it come with minimum 5 bedroom, big bedrooms, and all with attached toilets, right? So that is the convenient that if you are buying a brand new house versus an old house, and you don't have to go through the headache of designing, of coordinating with architects, go and choose your building materials, your ID, all this. You don't have to worry about that because everything are catered for, and you just have to wait for it to build complete, or if not, you can buy those already TOP houses, right? Okay, so the third essential elements, if you are going to buy a landed property today, right? This is something that are breaking a lot of buyers' plan because of the hidden costs, right? So first of all, if you are buying an old house and if you want to pull down and rebuild, you have to do a soil testing before anything can build on a piece of land, and that already costs you, for example, up to 3,000, or maybe some charge you $2,000 over, right? So with the soil testing reports, then you determine whether your house, the area that you are in, need to do any foundation piling or not. So certain area, the soil is too soft, that definitely you need to do a piling before you put the buildings up, right? And the piling process, it will incur additional costs as well, right? So, and sometimes the cost can be, up to 100,000 or even more, right? So those are additional costs. So before you buy the land, you might not know whether you need a piling or not until you do a soil testing, right? The other thing is the sewer line, which is called manhole, right? This is quite critical in a way, right? Sometimes you see this thing actually sit inside your backyard garden of the old house, right? Then you have to be very careful. Why? Well, this is something, it's manhole. It's called manhole because it's big enough for a human to go down to do inspection or anything. Because below here, you will have a sewer line, right, that passing through the whole landed estate, right? And there's a requirement. If you have a manhole in your land, right, there's a requirement. Normally, you have some restriction to build something over here because government require you to clear 1 meter radius around here, right? So within the 1 meter radius, you are not able to have any obstruction to this manhole, right? So imagine this manhole just nice sit at the center of the whole land. That will cause you a lot of restriction to build a beautiful buildings, right? Because you have to give way to the manhole. That's one thing, right? The other thing is, in case if you're going to build something here, government want you to build a trench, right? A protection to protect the piping below, underneath your house, right? So imagine if you haven't spent money to build your own house, you already have to spend money to build something to protect the pipe underneath your land, right? So those are actually big hidden costs, and the cost can go up more than 100,000. It depends on how deep is actually the sewer line underneath the land, right? So these are hidden costs that you definitely have to actually take note of, right? The other thing that, to further elaborate on this hidden cost, I'm going to show you a case that I have encountered before, right? Which is this house, right? The house on the left-hand side, yeah, it was similar to the one on the right-hand side, right? Before they do some reconstruction on the house, and it is a corner terrace, right? So this is actually the front view, all right, and this is the side view. You will see that they have done some extension from their original balconies, right? They convert into another bedroom, or to enhance or to enlarge the built-in area, right? But if you're looking at the side plan of this plot of land, right, which is here, this is actually a huge corner terrace, right? The blue color rectangular box represents the existing house. So if you were the owner, you are able to do a lot of extension to the back of the land instead of doing some extension to the front, right? But why these owners are not able or never plan to do anything at the back, but instead they do the front extension, as you can see from here. They actually extend this part out to here. Why they do this way instead of they extend at the back? So there's a good question that we have to think. Doesn't mean the architect don't know how to do the extension at the back, right? The only reason why they are doing this way is because over this piece of land at the backyard, there is a sewer line that cuts through this particular plot of land, right? So if they want to build something out, they have to spend more than 100,000 to do a protection to protect the piping before they are able to put the building up, right? So imagine if you are the owner who have some constraint in terms of the building cost or budgets, right? Or you are not prepared to do something extra just to protect the piping. You have to, what? It's either you do it at the additional cost, or if not, you have to change your plan, right? So that's actually the only reason why this owner decided not to build something at the back, and then they do extension at the front. But because of that, they have a lot of restriction, and eventually you will not be able to get something that to your liking, right? So this is a very good example or case study on the hidden costs involved that are stopping you to do something to your liking, especially if you have some budget constraint or concerns, right? Okay, so the next factors that I'm going to share with you is actually the factors that are affecting your landed property home price. Right, so there are plenty of them, but today I'm going to share with you some of the very common one, right, which is the land shape. If you are having an odd shaped land, definitely your valuation will be affected, or your selling price will be affected, right? State of the house. Original house with a well renovated house, definitely you will be able to get a different pricing if your house is very well renovated, right? Location. Location play an important part when it comes to landed property, right? So if you choose a good location, definitely your price will be better, right? And then the build-up area, a smaller house versus a bigger house. All right, big house will have a better value, right? Very obvious. And facing, are you facing any junction, any cross junction, any traffic lights, or any heavy routes or not? All these will be a factor. All these are the important factors that can affect your housing price as well, right? And terrain, if you are not having a flat piece of land, if your land is sunken down, or if you have the hill at the back of your house that you're not able to make use of this whole piece of land, then your pricing will be affected as well, right? And traffic condition, like what I say, every landed owner drive, and not only one car, they have a lot of cars, sometimes in a household, right? So imagine if your traffic condition there is very congested and it's so inconvenient, and you take half an hour to reach a very short distant place, then those are the things that will stopping buyer to buy your house, and your selling price definitely will be actually affected as well, right? Another thing is amenity, whether your house near any amenity or not, because everybody loves conveniences. Amenity will include maybe schools, maybe malls, right? Maybe MRT station or public transportation and so on, right? So those are amenity. And parking issues, right? Is your house able to park like 2 cars and above, or you only can park 1 car, right? Any parking available outside your house or along the route, right? If your house are having a double yellow line and there's no place for you to park additional car, then those are something that buyer might not want to proceed to buy a unit because they have more than 1 car, right? And the last thing that I want to talk here will be the RLP. RLP stands for Route Line Plan, and that is pretty important when it comes to landed property, especially if your unit are facing a main route. This is something that you have to take note, right? I'm going to show you a case study about Route 9 Plan, right? Okay, so Route 9 Plan, this one, some time ago in 2012, when we was marketing a piece of land, the surrounding property are all going at like, 2,000 or 1,100 per square foot, right? But we have this plot of land, 12,000 square feet, right? And we are trying to sell at only $1,000 per square foot, compared to the nearby transaction, right? In fact, this is considered very much lower. But after 1 year, we still can't sell this house. Do you know why? Right, so this is a very good example of Route 9 Plan, right? Because after 1 year, we finally get it sold, and at 10.25 million, there's only at $800, $850 per square foot, right? And it's very much lower compared to the nearby transaction, right? This is a detached house, right? So this is one very clear example of having an odd-shaped land. There's one factor that already affecting your resale price. The other factor is because this is a main route, and this house is actually fronting a very busy route, right? And this route actually have a Route 9 Plan. So what is Route 9 Plan? Route 9 Plan meaning, if you buy over this plot of land and you are going through a reconstruction or rebuild process, then this part that are affected by the Route 9 Plan, you will have to surrender to LTA, because that will be used for future route expansion, right? If they are not going to build the road now, you still can enjoy the piece of land, but unless you don't do any rebuilding. If you rebuild, then you have to surrender, right? Your boundary have to come in by this much. And that's one reason why this house was only sold at $850 per square foot as compared to some other unit that are in the same area, right? So this house eventually facing a Cat 3 route. That's the reason why the price are not able to achieve as much compared to the neighboring house, right? So this is some factors that you might want to take note when you are choosing your landed house in the future, right? So number 5, landed zoning. This is something also is good to know. If you are going to buy a landed property, you will be curious to find out how much or how many stories that your house can build up to. And this will be the only place for you to find out. You have to come into master plan. You have to choose the pink color area. Pink color denote landed property estate, right? So over here, if you see pink color, meaning this is classified under safeguarded landed area. Owners are only able to build landed property over these boundaries. So in here, you will not be able to see any apartments or any condominiums that are building here. Only landed property. That's why we call this safeguarded landed area, right? This is in Seletar Hill Estate, and we have, right, in District 10, right? So if you go to master plan, you are able to see all this zoning, right? Then certain zoning is a landed house, but it's not pink color. That's something also you might want to find out why. Because over here, Frankel, there's a Siglap Canal. After Siglap Canal is actually Telok Kurau, right, in the East Coast District 15 area. Right, and in Telok Kurau, you are able to see a lot of landed property as well. But why master plan don't indicate pink color in Telok Kurau? Why? Because if you don't see pink color and you still are able to build landed, meaning you are in a non-safeguarded landed areas, right? Meaning over here, not necessarily you only can build landed, you are able to build apartment as well. That's the reason why it's not classified under the pink color, right? We call this non-safeguarded landed area, right? And if you go to master plan, all this area you are able to see a plot ratio of 1.4, right? Meaning in this kind of non-safeguarded landed area, you're able to build up to 3.5 story, 3.5 story, in case if you are going for landed property. And if you combine enough landed house together, more than 1,000 square meter, you're able to build apartments up to 5.5 story, right? So those are the area whereby you will have a mixture of landed and apartment, right? So imagine, right, if you are buying into a non-safeguarded landed area, this will be the kind of feel that you'll be getting, right? Along the houses, sometimes you will see apartments, right? Not purely landed. Like this one, you will see apartments, right? And then some landed property, right? Apartment, you'll cause more congestion on the route as well. So there's something we have to take note. Right, so if you are buying a house that you want to stay and you want a very exclusive feel, right, I don't know, as a buyer, do you prefer a non-safeguarded landed area or a safeguarded landed area, having this kind of exclusivity feel, right? It's all up to you, right? And height control. In the landed master plan, you are able to see 2-story max landed or 3-story max landed. Those are the control over how tall you can build your house, right? So landed property, we never control by plot ratio. We are actually controlling by the number of story, how many story you can build with the setbacks. That will make up how big your house can be built, right? So definitely a 3-story master plan area, I think it will be better because I'm able to build a bigger house as compared to a 2-story area. Mixed landed meaning you are able to build terrace, you are able to build semi-detached house, you are able to build a bungalow, right? So that's why it's called mixed landed, right? And this is Nim Collection, which is in Seletar Hill area, and this is a 3-story mixed landed estate, right? Over, you can build one more story as compared to those at the back of the story of the Seletar Hill area, right? So since we are at Nim Collection, right? This what I have actually explained to you, 2-story and 3-story, right? Since we are in Nim Collection of Seletar Hill, I just want to take this opportunity to maybe briefly actually run through this new landed estate or new landed project in Seletar Hill, right? So this is called Nim Collection, and this is one of the very rare landed project that are fronting a linear park, like what I have shared with you before, right? And it's selling very well. Left only last 3 units, right? You get a detached and 2 other corner terrace. That's it, right? That's for phase 1 and phase 2. But definitely, developer will be coming out phase 3, phase 4, phase 5, phase 6. Like what I share with you, Seletar Hill area, there are still many land to build landed properties, right? And last corner terrace that is facing the park, and this is very rare, right? And developer have put in the ID fully furnished. What you have to do is just bring your luggage and you can stay in, right? It's already TOP. Okay, so these are the floor plans, and it's a 3-story with an open terrace. It comes with a home lift. 5+1 ensuite room is very spacious, and this is actually one of the best architectural design that I have ever come across, right? Because it's very bright. You have the crosswind concept, right? Meaning you will not be feeling so stuffy. As you know, if you stay in landed property, sometime at a very hot days, the house can become so stuffy, right? So this architect actually put in place the design concept of every room, every area from ground floor to the top floor, you can get a crosswind to go through from the front to the back. I think that's very ideal, and not many landed projects are having these unique features, right? But you can find in Nim Collection, right? You are able to park 2 cars and above, right? And these are some pictures. So this is the unit that I'm talking about, the last corner terrace at Nim Collection, right? House number 62. Right, these are some of the ID that you can see inside. Whatever you see here, you will be getting it because the house itself is fully furnished, right? Including all the designer piece of furnitures, right? And this is the park view, right? From your kitchen, you are actually facing an open park at fronting Ang-Mo-Kio Avenue 5, right? From the master bedroom, unblocked, you have the park view. Next time when you do up the park properly, this will be a beautiful house, beautiful view, right? And you are only 100 meters to Ang-Mo-Kio Avenue 5, whereby public bus stop is there. So it's easily accessible even for your kids as well, right? Your bedroom, everything all fully done up, fully furnished. Okay, Nim Collection. So recap. Today I have actually shared with you the 5 very essential elements if you are going to buy a landed property. These are the 5 things maybe you want to take note. Or we have actually discussed about, is there a future for 99 years? Leasehold landed house, right? And I also shared with you between the new and the old house, what are the deciding factors? I have actually shared with you what are the differences and so on between the new and the old houses, right? And I also actually let you know some of the possible hidden costs that can break your plans, right? Especially if you have to spend another 100, 200,000 just to rectify some things. That is not something we want to have it if we are going for a landed property, but it can always happen if you are not aware, right? And the other thing will be the factor that are affecting your landed home value, right? So if you get the right house, your valuation will be able to go higher, or your selling price will be able to go higher, and you are able to sell much faster as well, right? And I also share with you the zoning. You have the non-safe guarded landed area, you have the safe guarded landed area as well, right? So what are the differences? What are the good and the bad thing about that? Right, so those are the 5 things or 5 essential elements that I have shared with you, right? But of course, there will be some other factors that can also affecting your decision to buy a landed house. But these are something that maybe you are not able to see or search on internet. It's purely based on our experience, our opinion that we gathered from our buyers over the years, right? So I hope you enjoy this sharing, and my name is Jip Ng. I hope this will give you a very good understanding, and my sharing can help you to make a buying decision or your buying decision better, and you can get your dream home as fast as possible, and the right one. That's more important, right? So my name is Jip Ng. I'll see you very soon again. Thank you for watching. Thank you and bye.